Another trailer, another boost to my confidence that this'll be something real special. The Super Mario Bros. Movie has already won.
He said it!
Remember when people thought this thing would be a mess of pop culture references and toilet humor, taking only the most basic surface level elements from the games? Now look at it, near unanimous praise. Boy, we've come a long way. Now it'd be doubly funny if a video game movie franchise matching that description already existed, and yet people kept pretending it was anything good. Wouldn't that be something of a double standard? I'm aware a lot of you want me to tone down my Sonic movie hatreds, and believe it or not, I do get that. Even I can get tired of how much I slate these things sometimes. But you have to understand that this is half the reason I'm so excited here in the first place. After 3 long-ass years of corporate, templated, bare minimum rubbish being praised as though it was an offering by God himself, we're finally getting a real video game adaptation. People are waking up to the potential of this stuff. Sonic fans' third eyes are opening at the concept of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The simple notion of a game element showing up on screen will no longer be enough to elicit claps and screams from the masses. Humanity is healing. Mario's got a lot of stuff in it. I genuinely fear the timecode of a video pointing out every Easter egg. And in lesser hands, this could have easily become a cluttered mess of unfocused ideas. But what makes it all work is that the people running the show, whether that be the directors themselves or Miyamoto aiming a rifle when they get a modicum wrong, understand the underlying spirit of Mario and are crafting a film around that. We're not just cramming in every possible game element we can to appease fans, nor are we writing a completely independent story, then slotting all of the game aspects into the places they most neatly fit. We're looking at the entire Mario brand, what it stands for and the kind of emotions it brings out in people, as well as every single piece of the buffalo we have available, and using those ingredients to bake our cake. A perfect marriage of the familiar and the foreign, not changing what already works, but not using a single element without some careful consideration. Fireflower DK, a montage-ready training course, a vehicular-based chase sequence, a celebratory villain party, a blue-shelled Koopa General, a televised plumbing commercial, an ice-based penguin kingdom, a mobile volcanic castle. None of that is technically one-to-one. It's all new ideas exclusive to the movie. But no one's complaining. It all slots in perfectly, because it's synergized with those deeper feelings that Super Mario evokes. It's the difference between, say, an overly animated, borderline insane psychopath obtaining a MacGuffin that grants wishes in a completely dry temple filled with generic, stereotypical traps, and covering all of that in a surface-level referential skin to pass it off as okay, and setting a dangerous, high-octane chase scene within a location that's always carried a similar vibe in the source material. People once despised the idea of Bowser talking, but because Jack Black feels like the Koopa King, everyone loves it. You know, he's not taking a fat man who boasts about his machine's capabilities and turning him into a slim man who gloats about his own personal accomplishments, for a random example off the top of my head. It's not just stuff for the sake of stuff. That's why this doesn't feel like a cramped mess. It's expanding on existing ideas. It's taking concepts to their logical world-building endpoint. It's using any and every piece of the franchise where it can. It just feels like a Mario movie. Even the juxtaposition gag of the Luma awaiting the harsh grip of death. Still a kid's voice coming out of that thing. You know, these creatures that always expressed a very childlike innocence. There's a method to the madness. Everything has been used with such careful consideration. Every new idea has been thoroughly revised to work within existing parameters. This kind of mindset is actually why people often clamour for fans to be involved in these things. Creatives that are already deeply invested in a franchise, long before a paycheck is on the table, do tend to possess that deeper understanding of the source material, hence why they'd be perfect to take it to new heights in another medium, in theory anyway. Whereas if you got say, outrageous for the sake of outrageous comedy writers that self-admit to tuning out of the franchise long ago and ask them to script an action-packed metaphor for nature versus technology and old versus new, chances are they're gonna balls it up. This should hopefully mark a strong future for video game movies, ones that aren't afraid to fully embrace the source material. I'm hoping we get a good Crash film out of that eventually. Helps that just a few months later we're getting another animated epic that is seriously respecting what came before, not to mention pushing the boundaries of animation. This one looks real good too. We're finally hitting a golden age for adaptations. More and more are being led by people who just get it. What a time to be alive for terminally online fanboys, huh? Maybe if enough of these come out and are a success, Paramount can, reconsider their current approach. You know, I'm really not asking for much. Just give me actual Sonic fighting actual Eggman, and make it even half as hype as the Unleashed opening. My money would be yours. That's all you have to do. It's genuinely disgustingly easy. But back to Mario, and honestly, you can't say I was actually too big on the trailer itself. And now the content within it was, chef's kiss of course. But the marketing piece showcasing that content I honestly felt was kind of weak. No real build-up, no montage at the end as the music swells, felt more like an extended TV spot than it did a typical trailer. Just kind of a surprisingly underwhelming bit of editing to go out on for your big final trailer, you know? And now that does seem to be because they're rapidly running out of footage they can show. They actually seem to be keeping some surprises for the movie itself for once, an approach I insanely respect. That's almost definitely down to Nintendo's influence. Those guys are notorious for keeping things close to their chest. But still, I think it's worked out in the movie's favour. They've reeled me in more than enough. I'm already sold. So knowing I have stuff waiting for me in the cinema is pretty exciting. It's like when they refused to show Toby and Andrew in the No Way Home trailers. It enriched their time in the movie that little bit more. There's a lot we know is coming but haven't seen yet, which will make those moments finally showing up all the more exciting. Bowser's musical number, the DK arena fights. In fact, a lot of the action has been carefully cut around. We're seeing the setup for these set pieces, they're teasing us with the anticipation, but not really letting up on the bulk of those scenes. Gotta go buy a movie ticket to get that release. The tiny snippets of action we have seen look extremely engaging though, so consider me enticed. And there's one element they've been refusing to show in particular that greatly intrigues me. Have you noticed that despite everything we've seen, there's currently zero footage shown of our main hero and villain directly interacting? Now that's exciting. It's gonna be completely new territory when we get to that part of the film. I'm fairly certain these two won't meet face to face until at least halfway into the thing anyway, so it'll be nice to have the marketing synergize with the movie's sense of anticipation. Like they tried to build up to Kang's presence during Quantumania, and I really like that movie, but the big reveal scenes kinda fell flat because they'd been shoved down our throat in the trailers. Very curious to see what the action's gonna look like here in particular, with them heavily leaning into Bowser's sense of weight and heft, and showing Mario off in a far more fragile light than usual. We could be in for a genuinely tense confrontation. With the constantly moving long take of Mario dodging around Rainbow Road being just so immersing, I am now beyond excited to see how they'll tackle a climactic, final battle between the King of the Koopas and the Master of the Mushroom Kingdom. All I need is a slow-mo shot of Mario sliding under Bowser's fire breath. That's all I'm asking for. It'd be so good. Oh, also, the Super Show theme. Bloody marvellous stuff. Another great example of marrying the old with the new, while still making it feel right at home. Incidentally, you know this is gonna be part of the actual movie, right? It's not just a commercial. They didn't spend all their time animating this just to use it as a YouTube advert. Illumination only do that kind of thing with product endorsements. I think people are bang on the money when they predict this film's opening. This is gonna be just so fun.
I finally found it. Now who's gonna stop me?
What
for the Mario Brothers and plumbers again.
Yeah, hi, update. Jack Black did a little too much talking and accidentally basically confirmed this beat for beat.
I thought it was pretty rad the way it was addressed in the movie, where it starts off with like a commercial for the Mario Brothers plumbing company.
Spoiler.
Uh-oh. Should I not talk? It's not a spoiler when it's right out the gate. When it's in the first 5 minutes of a movie, it's not a spoiler.
Let's go!
Also, on the subject of sound, can't actually say I'm fully on board with this OST so far. Obviously it's leagues better than the kind of schlock I'm used to from Paramid, but I think it might be going a little too far in the other direction. At least if that Mushroom Kingdom clip is anything to go by. Earlier I praised the film for not using a single game element without heavy consideration, but here...
Chantrell! Nice to see you, bud!
Does this thing work?
Yeah, it's working.
Wait up. Oh, wow.
Big, big boom! Come on! Woo!
That's a lot of different game tracks, and quite important ones no less, all just kinda mashed together in this one tiny scene, for seemingly no other reason than, oh, let's use that one. Like, I don't really think you should be playing the Mario Brothers theme in a quick, unimportant character stumbles around their new environment scene. I would have saved that for a far more substantive moment later on, like the climax of the Bowser fight or something. It just seems a tier below the approach the rest of the movie is taking, which would track considering they scored this thing less than 6 months ago. Generally, I would want a smaller quantity of themes per scene, made sure they are really suited to the feel of whatever they're accompanying. The Toad scene is a great example. The Captain Toad's theme isn't just slapped in there with barely any adjustments. It's given a softer, relaxed vibe to make it really blend.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Toad.
Mario. So this is.
Plus, I want to hear Mario music get properly remixed to be all orchestral and awesome for the more cinematic moments. Case in point. Man, even if this movie somehow ends up sucking, these trailers still fucking slap. Also, hey, did you notice that they've removed the "what is this place" from that Toad scene? Never fear, internet critics. Your voice is heard and likely now feared after the Sonic situation. I still have literally zero idea how this guy's gonna pan out. We've heard a decent amount of Chris Pratt's voice now, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I just cannot get a solid read if this is gonna click or not.
I'm giving you all a sneak peek at the Mario voice for the first time.
Hello! It's me, Soup on the PS4!
PlayStation.
A lot of you are curious about the Luigi voice. It sounds exactly like this.
The next time I talk about this film, barring some unscripted casual rave, will be in some kind of long-form video, likely getting way further into this idea of making the new fit in with the old, at least if that still proves true in the full movie. Not to mention, I'll be making a couple extremely validating comparisons to Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2. Like, look at the cameos even. One movie had such a subtle reference that Tyson Hess had to clarify it on Twitter. The other just chucked in chunky, no strings attached. But for now, I figured I'd give a little plot prediction. We actually know surprisingly little about this thing, other than the basic outline of Chris Pratt accidentallys himself into the Mushroom Kingdom, just in time to beat up Jablinski Games. I did this for Sonic 2, so why not also do it for a movie I'm actually looking forward to, huh? I won't get into details, that's what tripped me up the last time I tried this. Plus, I can't for the life of me figure out some of these timeline placements. I think Peach and Co. get some kind of preemptive warning about Bowser's incoming invasion around the same time as Mario happens into them. Peach needs the backup of the Kong Kingdom to stand any kind of chance against Jackson Blackson, so she trains up Mario to be able to beat that kingdom's champion, DK. After a brawl and maybe a race, they all agree to work together, get suited up in their various heavily merchandisable vehicles, and head back home just in time to kick off Act 3. Now Bowser's prepared for this. Maybe he was even waiting for the princess to leave so he could have an easier time attacking, and he deploys his Koopa army to try and thwart the heroes before they can reach the Mushroom Kingdom. We can kinda figure this out because of the noticeably more tropical trees when the Koopas first attack, pointing to this being the cast leaving the Kong Kingdom. Plus, it would explain why Peach is gearing up to face off Bowser in her biker suit, since she would have just gotten back to the MK. That would mean the big finale is just a balls-to-the-walls blowout of action, just a giant war for the Mushroom Kingdom. We've seen Mario defending various parts of the land, it seems Peach will one-on-one with Bowser, at least at first. And I'm sure Luigi will finally get his hero moment too, probably after him and Mario reunite, then kick ass together with the power of family or something. Not exactly sure how the Luma plays into all of this. It's sequel bait for Galaxy content next movie, obviously, but I don't think it'd get a whole McDonald's toy if it was purely just a setup cameo. This'll then all lead into that big, bombastic final battle between Mario and Bowser, and maybe he kidnaps Peach just in time for the finale. It will top the ever-loving shit out of both of these final battles, and then the movie will end. Mr. Kung Fu Panda is defeated, and that Luma can head back off into space to set up Rosalina for movie 2. I won't get into any more specifics, I will almost certainly get that stuff wrong. I don't want to think too hard about the plot anyway, I want to be surprised. I'm actually hyped for a video game movie in 2023, what a strange world we live in. Oh, by the way, Kamek's probably like the true villain who's been puppeting Bowser into doing whatever he wants, and Bowser will figure out he's being manipulated right at the end and get that man out of his life. That kind of idea was always implied in the source material, not to mention it establishes a softer side to Bowser, so that in the sequel he can team up with the heroes when they venture into space. And Mario and fucking Rabbids is the blueprint here, you know? In Sonic's most recent game, we hear the lyric, "I'm what you get when the stars collide," and man, if that doesn't describe this movie. I remember when the first trailer came out and I got a strong gut feeling that this was something special. I equated it to Crash 4, a game I felt very good about early on that ended up becoming my new favourite, and wouldn't you know it, that exact same feeling still rings true here. I mean, these guys even pinged me directly just to let me know more footage was available. How awesome is that? I know it's just an automated marketing feature, don't worry, I'm not that much of a meat rider. It's got the look, it's got the voice, it's gotta be good though. Yeah, this is still me assuming the script won't be total dog water. It'll be quite tragic if everything else is a 10 out of 10, but the writing sinks lower than the Titanic. I think we're in good hands though. I can't quite picture a reality where Nintendo's so specific about all the minute visual details, but gladly lets Illumination fumble the most substantial elements, you know? I'm not expecting an Oscar-worthy script or anything, though that would be extremely funny considering, but I do think we'll get a damn decent little adventure movie, with some good jokes, some engaging action, just an overall nice and polished package. I'm actually more excited for this one than I am Spider-Verse. Yeah, there's a hot take for you. That's just down to personal tastes though. This still looks like the better film, don't worry. I have the most ridiculous smile on my face whenever I see new footage. It's got it, man. It's captured the spark. It's totally recreated that feeling. Mario's won. It's over. I am now infinitely more interested in the general reaction to Sonic 3 once that movie properly kicks into gear. The video game adaptation landscape has been permanently changed. I believe it's a little too late in the process for that team to make any substantial changes to their script, meaning we won't be getting a particularly compromised vision. They won't hastily tweak a bunch of stuff to comply with new standards. This'll be the Sonic 3 they intended to give us after the overwhelming praise of Movie 2. Personally, I think the combination of Mario's achievements and their desire to cover easily the most guarded section of Sonic history is gonna result in a lot of people being genuinely quite disappointed, at least if they don't seriously reconsider their approach. There's an argument to be made that that's mildly deserved. You guys want to pull the two legends can coexist card now, but when Mario was on the back foot, you all gleefully mocked it. And now that Sonic's being shown up for everything it gets quite wrong, people are scrambling to come up with a good defense. Sonic was trying to appeal to a new audience while sprinkling in some stuff for fans. You realize that's a nicer way of phrasing they had no faith in the source material as is to click with the casual market, so they changed a whole bunch, right? Paramount does have a track record of this. That is what they did. Our movie Sonic isn't even meant to be the same one from the games. He's shaped by different experiences and has a different personality as a result. Well, why the fuck is he called Sonic the Hedgehog then? I expected this character, you know? I've got to stop myself there. I'll save it all for that 9-hour teardown of the entire trilogy in one fell swoop sometime in the future. I will make the Sonic movie video essay to end all Sonic movie video essays. Just you bloody watch. In conclusion, without any comparisons to any lesser attempts, man, it's nice when studios use their powers for good and translate something you already enjoyed beautifully onto the big screen. Mario's doing just that, at a level that I'm pretty satisfied with, and is giving me a lot of confidence in the finished product. The last time an adaptation hit this kind of vibe was Captain Underpants, and that movie still rocks, so I'm looking forward to this one. It's less than a month out by the time this video releases. I know I'll be getting my butt in that seat day one. April 5th, let's go.
We hope everyone is having an amazing Mario Day.
Fuck you!